on those two passes?
It appeared it paused, yes.
For how long?
I didn't count.
What is the purpose of looking for?
Cop forgets his own DUI training. Judge throws out the evidence. A New Year's Day traffic stop ended with a deputy on the stand, unable to answer a single question about the test he used to send a man to jail. He swore an oath to tell the truth. Then, under questioning, he admitted he couldn't remember his own trainings, couldn't explain the science behind his own test, and couldn't even recall how long he paused his finger during the exam that put handcuffs on Antonio Morales. If a police officer can't explain the rules of his own job, should his testimony be enough to take away someone's freedoms? That question sat in the air of a Wisconsin courtroom for nearly 20 minutes, and by the end, a judge would answer it in a way that should make every driver pay attention. It started simply enough. Just after noon on January 1st, a deputy with the Burnett County Sheriff's Department responded to a single vehicle accident. A gray SUV sat in a ditch off County Road D, its front tire still spinning in the snow. Inside was one man, Antonio Morales. The deputy said he smelled alcohol, noticed glassy eyes, and heard slurred speech. Morales admitted he'd been drinking, explaining simply it was New Year's.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. What's your name, man?
I'm Antonio.
Okay. Don't worry. Do you have a driver's license, Antonio?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty. Whew. You're in there pretty good, my man.
Yes, I am.
You okay?
Yep, I'm like five miles away from home.
I gotcha. How much you had to drink?
It's New Year's, so I've had a couple.
Couple? Okay. Can I have you step out of the car, Antonio? You'd be willing to do field sobriety tests?
Yes, I would. Yep.
You would?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any medical conditions or anything like that?
No, I don't.
That admission, paired with the deputy's observations, set the stage for what would become a textbook example of how a DUI arrest is supposed to work.
On January 1st of 2026, did you respond to a call about a vehicle in a ditch?
Yes, I did.
After arriving on scene, did you make any observations?
I observed a vehicle in the ditch on the south side of County Road D, like a gray colored kind of SUV type car. It appeared to be occupied by one male. I observed the vehicle was on and running, and the front driver's side tire was still spinning. Immediately after making contact with Mr. Morales, I detected a strong odor of alcohol coming from inside the vehicle and his person. His eyes appeared to be half open and glassy and bloodshot, and his speech was kind of broken and a bit slurred. Yeah, I asked him how much he had to drink.
3 field sobriety tests followed: the walk and turn, the one-leg stand, and the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, often called the HGN test, where an officer tracks a suspect's eye movements for involuntary jerking that can indicate impairment. Morales passed 2 of the 3 tests cleanly. He failed only the eye test.
Turn.
And 1 out of 8, is that a pass or a fail under your training?
A 1 out of 8 would be a pass.
And on the one-leg stand test, you said you observed 0 out of 4?
Correct.
Which is obviously a pass?
Correct.
So the only field sobriety test that you say that Mr. Morales failed is the horizontal gaze nystagmus test?
Yes.
You're looking for specifically 3 clues and whether it applies to each eye, correct?
6 total clues, yes, 3 in each eye.
On that basis alone, he was arrested for OBUI.
And what field sobriety test did you perform?
The field sobriety tests that were performed were the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, the walk and turn test, and the one-leg stand test.
And did you notice anything through these tests?
Through these tests, I observed enough clues, which led me to believe Mr. Morales was impaired. I observed 6 clues during HGN out of 6 possible clues. I observed 1 possible clue out of 8 during the walk and turn, and I observed 0 possible clues out of 4 during the one-leg stand. I asked him if he would submit to a preliminary breath test, to which he replied no.
What happened after that?
Here's where the story takes its turn. Months later, in a suppression hearing, defense attorney Chapman stood up to challenge the only piece of evidence that mattered.
So you've been a patrol deputy for, at this time, roughly 1 year, December of 2023 until, I guess, almost 2 years?
2 years, a little over 2 years.
How many times do you think you had done the field sobriety tests?
Including the academy and other training purposes.
Let's say in the field.
In the field, I would say a dozen, maybe more.
And you said you did the police academy training, and that police academy training involved detection of signs of impairment. Did you do any official training on the field sobriety tests?
Yes.
Were you trained under the National Highway and Transportation Safety Administration guidelines?
I personally can't recall the exact material they used in the academy.
You said that on the walk and turn test, you observed 1 out of 8 clues.
Yes.
Do you recall which clue that was?
It was the improper turn.
Because in DUI law, not every test carries equal weight, and the HGN test is the most technical, the most scientifically sensitive, and the easiest to get wrong.
In each eye, it would be lack of smooth pursuit, on nystagmus at maximum deviation, and then onset of nystagmus prior to a 45-degree.
And for each of those tests, you have a specific process that involves you holding your finger or another focus item that you're asking people to look at and moving that in a certain pattern across their eye, correct?
If an officer doesn't perform it exactly as trained, courts can throw the results out entirely. That's not a loophole. That's accountability written into the rule of law. An officer's badge does not exempt him from following the very protocol he's sworn to apply to others. Chapman didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He simply started asking questions the same calm way you'd ask a coworker to walk you through a process they claim to know cold. How fast are you supposed to move your finger during the test?
Left or right, how fast do you move your finger?
At a smooth pace, easily to track. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Well, I am looking at the training materials from the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, and I have the document that will be moved into, I'll ask to be marked as Defense Exhibit 1 when I'm done. Deputy Carroll, what training were you provided regarding field sobriety testing?
It would be through the Wisconsin DOJ, what Northwood Tech Academy puts together as a curriculum. I believe all their course material is on WileyNet.
Deputy, are you aware of whether the training you received complies with the National Highway and Safety Transit Association guidelines?
I truthfully can't recall at this moment, no.
And you can't recall how fast you're supposed to move your finger when you're detecting lack of smooth pursuit in the eyes?
I had said before smoothly, but if we're going off of the DHSTA, I can't recall their parameter, no.
And you can't recall whether your training complied with those guidelines?
At this moment, no, I don't remember what the academy put on.
Does your office still have access to the training materials?
I'm not sure.
Regarding so you're supposed to do 2 passes, to the left, back to middle, to the right, back to middle, again to the left, and again to the right.
Yes.
In your opinion, or in your training, do you believe that the speed you move your finger matters?
Yes.
Okay. But you don't know how fast you're supposed to move your finger?
Again, I moved at a smooth speed.
Yes, a smooth speed, but whether that smooth speed took 1 second or 5 seconds, you don't know what's appropriate.
I'm not sure how to answer that, the deputy said. How long are you supposed to pause at maximum deviation?
Second clue you were looking for, sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation. What exactly are you looking for that clue?
Sustained nystagmus at max deviation would be the involuntary movement of the eye when the eye is farthermost to the outer corner of the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be the jerkiness back and forth at that position.
And what does the sustained mean?
Excuse me?
You're looking for sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation. What does sustained mean?
It would be continuous.
For how long?
I can't remember the exact amount of time off the top of my head.
But you are supposed to pause and look for whether the nystagmus is sustained, not just whether you observed it, correct?
Correct.
And you don't know how long you're supposed to be looking for to make it a clue?
I can't remember the exact amount of time off the top of my head. What's the scientific reason behind that pause?
What is the purpose of looking for sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation?
The purpose of looking for
yes. What is the reasoning behind why that is a sign of intoxication?
I can't testify to that. I'm not sure.
So you don't know the reason. You don't know how long you're supposed to pause at maximum deviation, and you don't even know how long you paused for.
I don't know the exact science behind it right now. No.
What were you trained?
Can't remember which course material we were taught on.
Okay.
I can't testify to that. I'm not sure. Each answer chipped away at the foundation the entire arrest rested on. This is the moment worth pausing on an officer with 2 years on patrol, trained at a 720-hour police academy, standing in a courtroom unable to explain the basic mechanics of a test he performed on a stranger on the side of a snowy road. Imagine if your manager docked your pay using a formula they couldn't explain when you ask. Imagine being disciplined at work by someone enforcing a policy they admitted they never actually read.
I'm going to play from the beginning quick. This is you in your car, right? You haven't had any interaction with Mr. Morales yet?
Yes, I believe so.
Hello. You okay? How's it going? Yep, I got someone on the way.
Alrighty. Your car's wheels are still spinning.
I guess I didn't realize that. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. What's your name, man?
I'm Antonio.
Okay. Don't worry. Do you have a driver's license, Antonio?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty.
Is that what you're calling slurred?
You asked if it was stuttered before, and he stuttered after I told him his wheel was moving a couple times.
That's what you're using as a sign of intoxication?
The stuttering, no. The slurred speech, yes.
Is the speech that we just watched there prior to 55 seconds on the video, is that what you're considering slurred?
At that point, not extremely bad, no.
Okay. We're going to continue to play. It's at 55 seconds now.
You're in there pretty good, my man.
Yes, I am.
You okay?
Yep, I'm like five miles away from home.
I gotcha. Where do you stay at, Antonio?
It's like between Webster and Siren.
Oh, okay. Like on County Road D or where at?
It's right off of County Road D.
Okay. Where are you coming from, Antonio?
I'm coming from all the way over in Luck, Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you coming from all the way over there?
That's where it's a long story. My house burnt down.
Oh, man. I'm sorry about that.
I'd rather not explain the whole situation.
No, you don't have to. You don't have
but
to.
Yeah, this is where I'm staying right now. And
okay. That's fine. Okay. How much you had to drink?
It's New Year's, so I've had a couple.
Couple? Okay.
And I'm being honest, I don't think I deserve a DUI.
Okay.
Because that's the same imbalance playing out here, except the stakes weren't a paycheck. They were a man's criminal record. Chapman then played the deputy's own body camera footage back to him, frame by frame, asking him to confirm exactly when he was supposed to be testing for sustained nystagmus, and whether he had actually paused his finger long enough to detect it.
Follow it as best you can, okay? All right, we're going to begin. Don't move your head. Don't move your head. You're good. You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep going. Okay.
Now, I just watched you do 2 complete passes, left, right, left, right. That was you checking for the first clue, correct?
Lack of smooth pursuit.
And now you are about to begin checking for sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You're doing good. Keep going.
Now, I paused at 5 minutes and 52 seconds. Your finger just reached the maximum deviation, correct?
I believe so.
The deputy admitted he hadn't kept track.
Because I'm going to
paused it again at 1 minute and 56 seconds. Obviously, Mr. Morales started to get a little bit more flustered after you brought up drinking, correct?
I don't know if that's what he was feeling, but it seems like he was being defensive.
He admitted he wasn't certain the science behind the test. The reason maximum deviation even matters was something he understood at all. This is where the case stopped being about Antonio Morales and started becoming about something bigger.
Okay. And what is the third clue that you're looking for?
It would be nystagmus prior to a 45 deviation.
And what do you do to look for nystagmus prior to 45 deviation?
Again, it would be the left and right passes.
What are you looking for?
Involuntary movement of the eye. Essentially the eye moving, like wiggling back and forth, not like sitting still.
That's your description of the test?
Whether courts can keep accepting field sobriety results from officers who can't explain the standards behind them. So does that mean every DUI stop using the HGN test is now vulnerable to this same challenge? Not necessarily, but it raises a question worth sitting with. How many arrests across the country rest on tests performed by officers who, like this deputy, never fully understood the methodology they were applying?
Do you know how fast you're supposed to move your fingers?
Again, I don't know how fast I'm supposed to move my fingers. I move it at a smooth rate.
So you were trained as far as how fast to move your fingers. You just can't recall what you were trained?
I can't remember the exact wording, no.
Okay. Can you tell me whether your application of that test on January 1st, 2026 complied with that training?
To my recollection, yes.
The judge didn't rule from the bench that day. She took the matter under advisement and later issued a written order. In it, she laid out the facts plainly. Morales had passed the walk and turned test in the one-leg stand. He had shown only minimal signs of impairment outside the eye test. And after reviewing the body camera footage alongside National Highway Traffic Safety Administration guidelines submitted by the defense, the court found that the HGN test had not been performed accurately or properly.
All right. We had a suppression hearing not too long ago. The court did take it under advisement, and I have now uploaded and signed my order, my suppression order. So I'll go over it very quickly with you, but it is in more detail in the decision. The court, here's the thing, there were certain findings that the court did make. That on January 1st, 2026, during the daytime hours of New Year's Day, approximately 12:07 p.m., the arresting officer responded to a single vehicle accident. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle resting on the roadside ditch, stuck in the snow. One of the tires was continuing to spin or rotate. No other vehicles were involved in the accident. Upon making contact, the defendant was a sole occupant of the vehicle. The officer stated and testified at the suppression hearing he observed multiple signs of intoxication, including a strong odor of intoxicant emitting from the defendant's breath, glassy and bloodshot eyes, and the officer testified that his speech was slurred or somewhat broken. In response to questioning from the officer, the defendant admitted to consuming alcohol and stated, well, it was New Year's, so he had alcohol. He did not want to perform the preliminary breath test, so the officer asked him to perform the standardized field sobriety tests. The defendant complied and he performed the test. We watched this on video. He passed all of the tests or shown only minimal signs of impairment except for the HGN, the horizontal gaze nystagmus test. The court does find, after watching the video and observing the officer perform that test, and with the exhibit provided by Attorney Chapman for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration guidelines, the court does find by this
the evidence
viewing,
was suppressed. That's the twist that satisfies and frustrates in equal measure. Morales got the legal outcome the facts demanded, but there was no dramatic acquittal moment, no headline-grabbing apology from the department, no clear sign that the deputy faced any consequence beyond a difficult afternoon on the stand. The system corrected itself in this one case. Whether it corrects itself in the next one is anyone's guess. Here's the debate worth having in the comments. Should officers be required to pass a refresher exam on field sobriety testing every single year, with real consequences for failing, or is asking too much of an already overworked patrol force? There's no easy answer, and that's exactly the point. What this case ultimately teaches is simple but uncomfortable. The badge does not make the test valid. Training does not enforce itself. And the only thing standing between a flawed arrest and a wrongful conviction is a defense attorney willing to ask the questions everyone else is too intimidated to ask. Accountability isn't a courtesy extended to the powerful. It's a standard applied to everyone, including the people who carry the authority to take your freedom away. If you want to see more cases where the truth came out under cross-examination, drop the case or courtroom moment you want covered next in the comments. Subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to see how the system actually works and help build an audience that understands its rights before they ever need them.